Tony. I mean, to be down for 8 runs and to come back in the way he did, and for Bryce to have that moment, just how do you even summarize the last 2 innings of this one?
Yeah, I don't think you can, other than Chappie stated it. As soon as he hit his first home run, stranger things have happened, and it's true in this game and in general. But you could also look at this year, and I don't think we've had that on the flip side, but we've had a lot. So they're a good team. They're going to win a lot of games. So you don't mind feeling good about the roles being reversed a little bit there from a couple of the losses we've had against them. But that was as dramatic as it gets, and it was fun. The crowd staying in the game the whole time, and whatever little reset button our position players hit when there was some frustration with what was going on the mound was perfect. I hope we can carry that over.
And kind of pointing to that reset button, you guys were only had 1 run for most of this game. Just what maybe flipped for you guys beginning in that 8th inning? Well,
I mean, again, I think your mindset kind of changes whether it's appropriate or not with the scoreboard, and sometimes you get, especially if you're up big, you get really relaxed like we did in Chicago, and the leg lifts start getting a little bigger and a little slower, and you get really comfortable swings in that case. And then sometimes you if you're on the opposite end of that score, maybe a little bit of effort gets into your head, and you kind of cut it loose. But I don't know. I'm judging it off some of the guys' reaction in the dugout. They were frustrated, and they turned it into determination, is my best theory. Those guys can answer more directly. But, again, whatever that little formula was there, it's not easy to repeat as many runs as we put up in 2 innings. But there's certainly something there to look at. And then Griffin's really good.
What do you think it says about Bryce that he was able to kind of rise to the moment and come through in a spot like that?
Yeah, it's interesting. It was a very lengthy conversation where to put him in the lineup today. And I don't know if there is a perfect spot, because I don't think there's a perfect spot for a guy that's got power, but also is one of our best guys at getting on base. But it kind of landed on the sweet spot today with that situation. But the other conversations that have come up with him was with a prospect earlier today, and just kind of talking about, baseball's baseball, and as you climb up levels to the younger kid, if you can, remain calm, and watch Bryce today, and even though he's seen a real tough lefty, I bet you kind of see that calm, so that's a big thing. And Buster talked about how usually for a hitter, Jonah and Barracuda and these guys are going through it. When you first get called up, it's you kind of get a little shell-shocked with everything that's coming at you, including the good stuff. And then my last bullet would be kind of from my dad. I know the other day he's got no filter. I usually kind of piddle around questions, and he went right up to Bryce and asked if he thought he belonged here, and you guys know what Bryce's answer was.
Tony, could this be like the start of the Eldridge era? I mean, he's been hitting a lot lately, and do you see him becoming the face of this franchise at some point? Certainly he wants that.
Yeah, no, I think he's built for that. I think I got here a year too late. I think, and I'm not saying this abrasively, I think you all have already kind of run with that a little bit. And I think part of the reason you guys are capable of doing that is, again, the personality. He's so good in all areas around the locker room, clubhouse with you guys. I'm sure it carries over. And then coachability is off the charts. And then everybody loves power. It's one of the hardest things to find. I mean, left-handed pitching, catching, and maybe power. I'm just going off the cuff. I know everyone likes shortstops, but those are probably 3 of the toughest things to find at this level. And he has that, so it makes it fun to watch him. But now it's kind of taken on an element that maybe, I'm stealing your guys' words, some of y'all didn't see coming, is a complete hitter. Yeah, I'm not one to put too much pressure on a guy, but I think you guys have been super blessed with guys like Will Clark and Brandon Belt and guys in his mold, and I think he fits that mold.
Tony, from your perspective in the dugout, did you think that ball was getting out? And then when you see it go out, you guys have had so much anguish in late game situations this year. How did that feel to just get that off your shoulders?
Yeah, it was kind of astonishment a little bit. When he hit it, thought it was out. It's Bryce. If he gets it in the air, but then it hung so much, and then looked at, the right fielder. I think Cruz was still out there, and he kind of pulled up. But then all of a sudden he looked up, so it was kind of thought it's getting out. Uh-oh. And then, that feeling there is going to be tough to replicate. And more than anything, from that point on, all the players rush past you where you're standing, and they deserve that joy. I know it's not been perfect. I know there's mistakes all of us have made together, but I think that's a very well-earned feeling that those guys got in there. So, and, I will say this, ironically, Shane Robinson's coaching first base as we wait here, and he felt like as the at-bat was going, a little bit of a breeze picked up, and for those of you that were on the road trip, he absolutely hammered one to left field, and that flag had changed literally just for that at-bat. So, but I'm gonna say the wind wasn't involved and say one of the strongest guys in the league muscled it out of there.
Rewinding a bit, no walks for Robbie today. Do you feel like he's unlocked anything mechanically there?
Normally, if it wasn't him, but you guys know who he is. I mean, he's the ultimate pro. He's so easy to be around because, again, like I said, I feel like I do have a filter. As a coach, there's certain things you maybe tiptoe around a player, but you don't have to say – you don't have to sugarcoat anything to him. You just say what it is. And I'm just speaking to, like, how much savvy he has and how much, know-all, especially self-awareness he does. So I think he kind of knows what he's doing out there, and everything's not going to be perfect and straight on the train tracks every time going out there for him. But he would be able to speak better. Those guys are aggressive, but it did look like he was ambitious about attacking and getting deeper into the game, which he got. And who knows, we leave him out there for another hitter. Maybe he completes that inning. But he got us where we wanted to be today because the bullpen was pretty short. Wish we could have kept some runs off the board for him.
Tony, at what point did the guys sense that there really was a real chance to come back, and when was that?
I feel like when Rafi hit his, guys started to say some things that usually goofy Hunter Pence would say. So I think that did a lot for us. Again, Chappie in Chicago, you could see him elevate the vibe with kind of, I don't want to say coming out of his shell, that's drastic, but showing what he's capable of doing. He'd kind of been held down a little bit more on the offensive end. And then he probably didn't want me to say it, but it's a fact. Like, there's a gravitational pull to Rafi. You can ask any of his old teammates or current teammates, and everybody wants him to do well. And when he did that, it was kind of like, why can't we just keep pushing forward? Good. And then I don't mean to cut you off, but two unheralded stars for me, because sometimes you go back there and it's like, man, Susak's pick or a challenge Susak had the other day got overlooked. Like, love seeing Willie play out there, but Casey did a good job. And then Raver kind of saved the day. Again, we were thin, and he just got here this morning, and the plan was for him to throw one inning. And I thought Raver was phenomenal for us. So I'd regret it if I didn't mention it. Thanks for the extra 30 seconds.